Star Wars Andor episode 4 through 6 happened last night. And last week I watched all 3 the night of. This week I watched 2 of them and I could not stay awake because it was almost like 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'll watch the next one tomorrow morning.
And admittedly, these 3 made a bit of a slower burn of a story.
Yeah, it's because it is pointing towards something really heinous and big that's coming. That is the effective end of Mon Mothma's career as a politician.
Yeah.
At least during the Empire's reign. And so I'm like the next set of 3 episodes, I think, is when they're going to do the Gorman massacre. And it's
there was already the Tarkin massacre.
Poor fucking Gormans are about to have 2 massacres.
More than one.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's, by the way, that is an attempt for them to reconcile Rebels with Legends, because in Legends, the Gorman massacre was something that happened right after the Clone Wars that Grand Moff Tarkin was involved in. Yeah. But then Rebels mentioned the Gorman massacre, and so they're like, "Oh God,
yeah,"
because that wasn't right after episode 3. It was quite a ways. A quick spoiler free of all 3 episodes. What'd you think?
I have a simple thought and then I have a more complex thought. The simple thought is that I love the attention to detail the showmakers have put into giving these planets their own culture specifically.
Dude,
like on Chandrilla, we saw the really complex circles
the
that were involved in the wedding
inspiration,
the Japanese inspiration everywhere. On Gorman, we see not only do the people speak space French.
They are in space France.
Yeah, they're speaking space French. They have their own gestures, like this wave to goodbye, and like you don't know what that means.
Oh, I know what it means.
At no point do they explain that, but you know what it means.
I'll tell you what it means. It means you can right the fuck off.
And they didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah,
but it makes the world feel more real.
Yeah, I love how the Gormans are the French revolutionaries of World War II. Yep, which, by the way. Much. The French revolutionaries of World War II did not fuck around. Those guys killed a lot of Germans.
The more complex thought I have is that to this point in Andor, I've sensed the thesis being that it's asking its characters 2 basic questions. First, what drives you to rebel against authority? And second, what are you willing to sacrifice? For that?
Sure.
Because there will be sacrifices.
Yes.
And even if you win a war like this, it costs you. You lose things.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up?
Yeah.
And we've gotten some answers. Like Luthen has straight up said he will sacrifice
He's ready to burn everything.
Yes. He will burn the entire galaxy to the ground if he gets rid of the Empire. Mon Mothma has given up her daughter to a marriage to the son of one of the worst people in the galaxy.
She's finding out more and more every day how much she's willing to do.
She's given up one of her best friends because he might have been a leak.
Yeah.
Every character is being forced to confront this.
Rest in peace, Tay Kalma.
Yeah.
That dude's fucking dead.
Even some characters that you might not think so much about, which we'll get into when we get to spoilers.
Yes.
What are your spoiler 3 thoughts?
I like it. I picked up on the same themes. There was another... Despite the weird shit we learn about Saw Gerrera in this 3-episode run...
I feel like I understand more about why Saw Gerrera.
No, we know exactly why he is the way he is now. But he has a monologue. I think in the end of the second episode, that feels almost like a call to action.
Yeah.
And I hear shit like that. I'm like, don't try to radicalize me anymore, please.
No, he is explicitly trying to radicalize a person who has already been radicalized.
He is
radicalizing them more.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's great so far. There are a lot of really great musical moments too. In particular, I think in the 3rd episode, when Mon goes to the party.
Oh yeah, that music is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool. There was this is minor spoilers, but something that's been all over social media for the last couple of weeks. Bail
Organa shows up, and it's not Jimmy Smits,
right? Which I know I posted about it on social media earlier today. I know that I think the official reason is that it was scheduling problems, but in Hollywood, that's what you say, regardless of what the reason is, because it's palatable.
So for all we know, Jimmy Smits was sitting at home on his beanbag chair eating Cheetos and watching TV.
It was like, I'm so tired of Star Wars. Yeah. He is almost 70. So that could have had something to do with it because it's earlier in Bale's, in Bale's life. Because he keeps getting older and older as we see him.
And we keep seeing him younger and younger.
My partner and I saw Star Wars Episode 3 in theaters, which by the way is where my cup came from. And it's funny seeing a fresh-faced Jimmy Smits in that. And then you see him in Rogue One, and he's got a little bit of gray in his beard. And then you see him in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's looking quite a bit older. Yeah. So they're probably like, well, we better get someone else.
Which, if that is what you did, Disney, thank you for being willing to recast actors who have played characters before.
Done some weird,
Yes, we did not need any AI bullshit. Just recast them. Right. It's okay.
And you know what? Benjamin Bratt, the guy they got, he channels Bail Organa. I think he does a great job, and I think he is disarmingly handsome, which is the same thing I feel about Jimmy Smits. I think he has the exact same effect on me. Also, I should point out that I've been a huge fan of Jimmy Smits since he appeared in the last 2 seasons of The West Wing, and have been a huge fan of him ever since. So I'm not sure I'm not sure if it was he didn't get enough money, or there were scheduling conflicts, or he's just getting a little too old, or maybe he's like, Star Wars fans are fucking crazy, I'm not doing this anymore.
Which fair.
Yeah. So So let's get into spoilers.
Okay.
We are going to spoil everything in episodes 4, 5, and 6. If you've not seen it, come back.
They're good. Go watch them.
Go watch them and come back. Because you don't want to hear the story the way we tell it, because we're a couple of fucking idiots on the internet.
We are irreverent and vulgar.
Yeah. That's true.
I've said it before. That should just be our tagline.
We are irreverent and vulgar.
Just irreverent and vulgar.
Yeah. We'll put that on the business cards. So this is Star Wars Andor. Episode 4, Ever Been to Gorman? Which is the title.
I love the episode titles.
Yeah, they're cheeky. I like them. So we find out that this happens 1 year after the last episode.
Which we knew from pre-release rumors that this was how the season was going to be structured.
Right, yeah. And so now we're in 3 BBY. And I love how whenever we see what year it is, we hear the Ferrix chimes, like the big hammer guy that hits the thing. It's a really good way to keep you grounded to the start of this series. That they all, Cassian was this humble guy from Ferrix, and that there's still a part of that, that kind of keeps us tied into his character. I appreciate that a lot. So Bix and Cassian are staying at a Rebel Airbnb. By the way,
Luthen's safe house specifically.
Yeah. I wonder if he makes money on these. Like, if it's like passive income.
Probably
like when they're not being used as Rebel safe houses, they are just literally Airbnbs.
No, I can't imagine he would, just like for security reasons.
By the way, this is not like a new Rockstar style, all the things you missed.
Yeah, we're not going to break down every single thing.
Yeah, so if we miss something, tell us in the comments. Or Chris will probably chime in, because I feel like sometimes you remember weird things more than I do. So anyway, Rebel Airbnb in Coruscant. Bix is having some pretty serious PTSD issues. First with her run-in with Dr. Gorst, and also what happened to her in the 3rd episode,
and also what happened between episodes.
Right,
because when she goes out there,
I'm about to get that. Yeah. So it's really clear that Bix is not doing well and probably needs medical help, but I'm not sure if the Rebels have medical insurance that covers that. Yeah. But anyway, she's having a night terror, and she walks in on Dr. Gorst, who is doing his thing to this guy and pretty much
his alien torture headset.
And we find out this guy is a guy that Cassian just shot because he saw Bix's face. Like this guy, who I don't even know if they were fighting him or not, saw Bix's face, and Cassian's like, "Oh, fuck off," and shoots him. And you can tell she's carrying that with her probably a little harder than she's supposed to, being a rebel and everything. And I gotta say that the guy that they cast to play Dr. Gorst is in the show disgusting, but is really clearly a really good actor.
Yeah.
And he just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's like this man.
It's the way his face is shaped and the way his hair is cut, I think.
And he's so polite and smiles.
Yeah.
And it's just look, all I'm saying is that if they look through his internet history, he'd probably be in jail. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So she wakes up. Well, Cassian, because she's like running around in the apartment with like a gun and shit. Cassian is like, you can't run around with a gun in the apartment. It's really dangerous. Please stop. So we head to Gorman, and Cyril Karn is in a different station in life.
Yes.
And he seems to be doing pretty okay.
Yeah. He has his own apartment with some weird stuffed spider on the shelf.
Circular windows and shit. He's in charge of the Bureau of Standards field office. And because he's a weirdo, and we don't know why this is yet, but we know that it's so fundamentally Cyril Karn that none of us really blinked at it. He uses dental floss as a security measure to see if anyone breaks into his apartment.
Yeah, he just ties a little bit of string, and if anyone opens the door, it would fall down.
Yeah. So Cyril walks to work. He passes some protesters. I'm going to reveal this now just because it's a thing, but it's connected. But we find out that Gorman already had a massacre, which was the Tarkin massacre that happened like 16 years ago. And pretty much what happened was that
Tarkin wanted to park his ship.
Hold on a second. So Tarkin pulls up in his Lambda class shuttle and is like, I'm going to park here. And the Gormans are like, you can't fucking park here. And he's like, yeah, I can. And just parks on top of them and kills a bunch of fucking people. And
I think he shoots first before he parks on top of them.
Probably.
Something like that.
Yeah. It seems like something you would do. But remember, the Empire wouldn't condone that. So he has a conversation with his mother, good old Edie.
Yeah, so he gets to his office and calls his mom.
And all of a sudden, Cyril's seeming really anti-Empire. And it's really weird. And I didn't buy it for a second. And neither did my partner. So he mentions the propaganda effort by the Empire. His mother is my father-in-law who watches too much Fox News. And all of a sudden, Cyril sounds like he's making sense.
Yeah.
Which is your first indication that maybe something is not the way.
Something is terribly wrong.
Something has gone very wrong.
Because he does not make sense.
Yeah. So we find out that Gorman locals are listening in on his conversation with his mom. And the guys that are doing the dials and got the headphones, they're starting to maybe think that maybe Cyril is a guy that they might want to make friends with for their goals, which we don't know what
they can have an inside man.
Yeah.
It's also worth noting in this discussion, his mother nags Cyril about, well, you broke up with that wonderful girl Dedra, and you're demoted to the backwoods of wherever. Yeah. You should really just come home to Coruscant. I mean, your Uncle Harlow can get you a better job. Yeah, it'll be great.
As soon as she said that he left his woman, or whatever, however she phrases it, it's like there's no way Cyril left Dedra.
No. If anyone is breaking up that relationship, it is Dedra dumping him.
Yeah. So Bix and Cassian go grocery shopping, and Cassian is extraordinarily paranoid. And she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Kroger." And he's like, "We just went to Kroger 3 months ago." And she's like, "Yeah, but that's the last time we went. We can go again." And they get in and they talk to the shop. Like,
"Oh, I haven't seen you in 3 months. This is great."
Yeah, and then Cassian's like, "Forget our faces.
We need to
swear
go
to God,
now.
I'll kill you." Yeah.
Shabir's like, "Are you sure you only want these 3 melons?" And Bix is like, "Actually, he wants to try the spiciest pepper you have."
Yeah, because he's a spicy little pepper. Cassian's a spicy little pepper. So when they get back, they make dinner. Cassian defends his choice to kill the soldier. He's like, "Honey, he saw your face, and everyone who sees your face has to die. I'm sorry. That's how much I love you."
Which is kind of romantic and sweet from a very twisted point of view.
Yeah. So on Gorman, Cyril is approached by a spider toy salesman, which I never thought I would have that written in my notes. But he gives him a spider and he's like, "Hey, it's got a secret message in it," and he just walks off.
And Cyril's like, "Weird, but okay."
Okay. So it ends up being a location for a public town hall meeting, right? So Cyril later that night returns to work after hours and he walks up to the Imperial Guards and he's like, "I left some work up in my office. Can I go get it?" And they're like, "No." And he's like, "Well, can you go get it?" And they're like, "Just fucking go up." Yeah. And so he runs up, grabs his tablet, and then breaks into someone's comms room or something and calls Dedra.
Yes.
And he gives an update on what's happening, and we find out
he's like, "Dude, I'm in. Like they sent me to the instructions to go to this meeting. Like I'm there. Like you gotta tell Partagaz we're gonna blow the lid off.
Also tell him I'll fucking die for him.
Yeah.
Tell Partagaz, Dedra, I swear to God, you better tell that man I'll fucking die for him.
Dedra's like, okay, but like you don't really have anything definite yet, so I need you to like at least go there and like memorize some faces or something.
Yeah.
Maybe listen to some French slogans.
Yeah.
Like,
and then Cyril's like, but tell me I did a good job, please.
She's like, fine, you did a good job. I'll pat you on the head next time I see you.
So nice. Which, by the way, okay, so clearly Cyril and Dedra are doing an op together.
Yes.
And
like,
I'm so mad that this is kind of cute because they're both fascists.
Yes.
But, they've done some really good character development with Cyril. Mm-hmm. They gave him a really overbearing mother. And he kind of is trodden upon a lot, and
like you understand why he is the way he is because you see what he grew up with,
right? And he wants to please someone. Mm-hmm. It'll never be his mother because she's fucking insane. So he found Dedra at Partagaz, and he found someone he really likes, and they're doing a cute little op together. And yes, it's fascism, and I hope they all blow up. But on the other hand, it's like, aw. You know what?
Hashtag relationship goals.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you kids. So Dedra goes to work at the ISB. And there's a bit of a problem forming, which is that they are arresting too many people.
Too many people. They don't have enough interrogators. They can't collate all the information they're getting.
It's creating chaos with their intelligence. And it's such a fucking fascist problem. They're like, we just are arresting too many locals. We don't know what to do. And Dedra's gay assistant is a supervisor now. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I as a gay man can say that. Don't come at me. So Lonnie, who is the rebel spy from season 1, the ginger guy with the mustache. He's the one that actually speaks up about arresting too many people, which takes the pressure off the gay assistant because like Partagaz is about to like dig into him about it and shit. And so they make friends. And I forgot for a second that Lonnie is married and has a kid. And I'm like, I ship those two. Like they'd be really happy together.
Like in the hallway, the assistant says, "What can I do to repay you?" And Lonnie says, "Buy me lunch."
Yeah, he's like, "You want to fucking go out?
Well, buy me some coffee." And,
now that you say that, now I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe Lonnie's just
maybe they have an open marriage.
Maybe Lonnie is just pretending to be bi-curious so he can pump the other guy
get
for
in there. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good idea. So, oh man.
Or maybe Lonnie is bi-curious. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's whatever year it is in Star Wars.
I like this is the level of like analysis we're getting into this. Oh man, there is some ice between Dedra and her former assistant. Because he's sitting the access desk now, right? And he doesn't want or need her help, and she does not like that.
And like he feels like he's maybe making some progress, and Dedra's like, so
tell me everything.
You need some help on Axis, right? You got a bunch of people arrested. You need some analysis. Like, fucking give me a call.
Yeah,
I can help you out.
Yeah, he's like, girl, get the fuck away.
Girl, you just go deal with Gorman. Yeah. I got this.
Mon Mothma is running around frantically trying to whip votes to take away some of Palpatine's power, which is poured PRD. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably, I didn't look into this too much, but it's probably some of Palpatine's emergency powers from the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Because they mentioned like it wasn't supposed to be permanent, it's supposed to expire, and this is specifically like a re-upping of that bill.
Right. It's the Patriot Act, probably. Yeah. So she wants to kill it. People are not interested in helping her anymore. It's way too dangerous to cross Palpatine nowadays. And I have in my notes, what the fuck is that the Chancellor from The Force Awakens? Because I'm pretty sure it was. There's a shot of her walking down the hallway with a guy with a wispy beard and like weird alien
Chancellor
head.
Valerian?
No, he's human. That's
because that was the only Chancellor. That's the only Chancellor from Force Awakens. Oh no!
No,
okay, yeah, you're
Valorum,
talking.
Valorum is long dead.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Phantom Menace.
Yeah, he's. So remember the one part in The Force Awakens where like 4 different planets blow up?
Yeah. Okay.
I think that might be the same guy. I couldn't tell. So
this kind of drives home how fascism like gets its victories.
Everyone puts their head down and they're like, we can't get involved.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
Like, and the really fucked up thing is, I think even if Mon Mothma had succeeded in getting the votes to kill this, about all she succeeds in doing is getting Palpatine to abolish the Senate about 3 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, at that point, Palpatine very well might decide, Senate's no longer useful. We're the Empire. We don't need any democracy. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, actually, those guys annoy me.
Yeah.
So no more Senate. You know what? No more Senate.
I am the Senate.
So Lonnie goes to visit Luthen again in their meeting place in the elevator. He reveals that Dedra isn't on the Axis desk anymore and is doing shit on Gorman, and one knows.
Luthen is like, what the fuck do they want with Gorman? It's just a bunch of fucking spiders and clothes. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, and Lonnie's like, I'm going to be honest with you. There are like 3 people in the entire building that know about this, which it is in itself its own surprise. The fact that like they're being so secretive about it.
Not only are they going after Gorman, this weird planet that nobody would have a military reason to care about, but they're doing it extraordinarily secretively. Yeah. Like they're not even gossiping about it in the halls. And like Luthen looks surprised that the Empire managed to pull something on him, because he's like, what? I have not heard anything about this. What the fuck is going on?
And you know that Luthen's like, what the fuck are they trying to hide? Like, what is happening?
Because like they wouldn't be this secretive about it if it wasn't important.
Right. So they have their town hall meeting at Gorman that Cyril goes to. Basically, the Empire is building an armory, but they're lying about it.
Yes.
Right. And the locals are pretty pissed, and like the leaders of the local resistance kind of pull Cyril aside afterwards. And they're like, look, we're not saying we're a resistance, but if we were, how interested would you be? And he's like, vaguely interested. And they're like, great, what information can you give us? And he's like, nothing. I don't really do anything.
Like I count spiders. I don't know what the fuck they're shipping in guns
Which,
for.
by the way, you guys have really nice spiders. Like that's never been the issue here. But I don't have access to the shit that you need. And they're like,
well, can you get access?
Yeah, they're like, well, how about we talk about this at a later time? And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine.
So this is sort of a fake out answer to one of those big thesis questions I was talking about earlier. Like, what makes you get involved with this? And like, Cyril's cover is that he's pretending that he cares about these people, and that like he sees the atrocities they're living under, and the wheels are turning. He's like, maybe no one should have to live with this.
And he's really assimilated their culture too. Yeah. Like he dresses like them. In his apartment, he has a bunch of those toy spiders everywhere. Like he looks like he's been enamored by the culture.
Yeah. It's all bullshit, because he is and always will be a bootlicker.
Yeah.
But he's playing the part.
Yeah, he's also good at it. Like he's really good at it. Weird that they found the one niche that Cyril's talents are actually really useful.
Yeah.
So Luthen meets up with Cassian, and he's like, I got a new mission for you.
I like that they have a little code.
Oh, like, the blanky thing?
Outside the Airbnb, there's a bunch of towers, and at the top of one in the distance, at night, a light will blink when Luthen wants to talk to Cassian.
Do you think there's like a switch somewhere that everyone just forgot where it was? And like Luthen just like walks by and just clicks it?
Maybe.
And then like someone's like, shit, someone clicked the fucking thing again. Go turn it off. Yeah. So he's like, Cassian, I've got a new mission for you, but it's not the kind of mission you're used to.
It's low key. It's casual.
Yeah. You're not got to kill anybody. I'm sorry.
Hopefully you don't have to kill anybody. Yeah. I want you to go to Gorman, meet up with the local resistance, see what they're up to.
Yeah. Let's see if they're ready to be useful against the Empire. Yeah. Oh man, Chris, we return to Dakar, baby.
Oh man.
Let me tell you.
I was shocked, because this is actually a pretty neat retcon that the base that the Resistance uses used to be Saw Gerrera's base.
Well, I think that a lot of the bases, I think that what we're supposed to get from this is that when Leia goes on the run with the Resistance, she goes back to a location that she knows.
Yeah.
Because I think that eventually this will become a rebellion thing.
They do mention that.
So was Crate.
Crate, the Last Jedi base. That was explicitly an old Rebel base.
Right.
So it doesn't shock me, but it's a neat little bit of breadcrumb lore dropped in there.
It's cool to see it again. We play a lot of Battlefront, and one of the Starfighter maps we go to a lot is Dakar, and it's just a lot of fun. So this is where Saw Gerrera is hiding out, and Willman, who is, by the way, looking more and more rough every episode, is here to teach them how to do this weird thing with this really dangerous fuel called Rydonia.
Yeah, he has this big MacGuffin of a machine, and you slam it up against a Rhydonium pipeline or something, and it lets you steal the fuel.
And you twiddle the dials. And
there's 8 variations. It's all very complicated.
Yeah. Saw seems to, and we will later figure out why, but right now Saw seems to have a really erotic relationship with this fuel, and no one knows why. He's like, oh, they're right down. And they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
At one point, he says, you have to be a little crazy to be a rebel. And like, I get it. Like,
what he meant was that you got to be a little on space meth to be a rebel. So Saw doesn't allow Will to leave. And he's like, you need to teach my guy here all the different variations and shit, and you're not allowed to leave until he can do it by himself.
And Willman is like, well, can't you just tell me what you're going to use this for, so I only have to teach him one variation? And Saw's like, no.
You're asking way too many fucking questions.
You got to teach him all 8.
Yeah.
No exceptions. Fucking get to work.
And you can see it like everyone at like 2 tubes and shit. Everyone's like, do you know what fucking paranoid Saw is? Don't ask about what we need it for.
Willman's like, no, but seriously, like, Luthen's expecting me to go somewhere else and do another job.
So I was like, fuck Luthen. I hate that fucking guy. So Cassian and Bix have a cute little goodbye. And then the episode kind of ends. He goes off. He's going to go do something. And then we find out that Bix is using some kind of narcotic to cope with her PTSD. And it's very sad.
Which is not healthy.
Episode 5, I Have Friends Everywhere.
Ah, yes.
I've said never. So first of all, this episode opens with a really neat resetting. So every episode has a different resetting of the Andor theme at the beginning. And this one's really cool because it goes in and out with radio waves and shit that I really liked.
Which is sort of in universe what's happening, because doesn't
right. Yeah, because
this one opens with Clea, right?
Yeah, Clea's monitoring her fancy ham radio. And she starts to hear some trouble from the bug that she planted with Skaldun. And he seems...
Skaldun's like, look...
Well, hold on. We don't get too far into the exposition yet, but he sounds a little neurotic, and he seems a little worried about some of his art. But, like, Luthen walks in at the last second, so she, like, turns it off.
Yeah.
So... Cassian gets his new clothes. He goes to these couple of guys
who are clearly like rebels in disguise, who set Cassian up with disguises for his missions.
Right. And they have like a code word and shit. Yeah. And it's kind of cool.
My favorite part is he walks out and like slips this little earbud in. And
this is Audible.
It starts playing an audiobook of his cover story.
Yes. Your name is Valerian Sky.
Sky. Yeah. You're his fashion designer.
You're a badass motherfucker.
You're not. You're a fashion designer. You're a complete fucking nerd. You came to Coruscant when you were 12 and blah, blah, blah. Here's your life story.
Derek Zoolander would absolutely disagree with whether or not you're a badass if you're a fashion designer.
And like presumably he listens to this a couple times because there's some like pretty fine details.
Yeah, he's like, your childhood address is 1940 West Elm Street.
Yeah.
That's not my childhood address, by the way.
Well, like he walks down to the spaceport and gets on a ship and flies to Gorman.
Yeah. So Edie talks to Cyril again, and he's like, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to be visiting soon." And he bitches more about the Empire, and he's like, "It's getting harder to travel, and fuck the Empire." And the local resistance is listening in, and the ISB shows up, and it was like, "Guys, we think there might be a bug here." Not like a spider like you would expect, but like a listening device.
If there weren't spiders here, that would be a problem.
That would be very strange.
Like that's all this planet does.
They're everywhere.
Spiders.
Yeah.
We're talking about an electronic bug.
Yeah,
the bad kind.
Everyone turn over their shit. We're gonna look everywhere. And Cyril's
like, dude, we have so many fucking spiders to count. Like, do you have any idea how much you're disrupting our work?
Yeah. He puts on a nice show, looks real upset, and gets himself arrested.
The SB is guards, arrest that man.
Slap fucking handcuffs on that guy. So Clea looks into this Skaldun forgery thing. She listens in some more. And it turns out that he accidentally bought a piece that was a forgery, and he wants his entire collection reappraised.
Yep.
And this is
recertified.
Yeah.
Checked over everything.
This is a huge problem because one of the pieces has a listening device that Clay has been using. Yes. And if they find it, it will lead them right back to them directly. Yeah. And so you can see that Clay is like, shit.
And is this where she and Luthen argue about it?
Well, they do eventually, because like Luthen's like, God damn it, I told you not to put that listening thing
Never
there.
should have done this. And like Clea's like, but we got so much. He's like, we got fucking bits and pieces that we could never connect to anything. Like it was completely fucking useless. And now we're going to get burned because Skull Dune's a fucking neurotic, paranoid fuck.
Yeah. And I like how she, at one point, she's like, you're becoming so insufferable. Luthen, I'm starting to really regret working with you.
And finally she's like, dude, are you fucking done? Because like, we need to get a plan to fucking do something about this.
By the way, we're coming up on 48 minutes, and I need to make sure to take a quick 3-second break at an hour.
I will set a timer.
Yeah, like 10 minutes or so. So, hold on. Luthen, hold on. Clay. Okay. Cyril returns to work.
Okay.
And he's like, guys, I got arrested. I'm so sorry. But they did find a bug in our office, and they want to interview everyone because it makes perfect sense. We'd be bugging our own fucking office. And then he kicks a thing real hard. And he's like, I'm mad.
Yeah.
And goes off into his office. And all of his workers are like, shit, he looks real mad. He looks like he might be real pissed at the Empire. So the local resistance has found Cyril's Morlana 1 record, and they interpret it in a way that they read what they want to read from it. Right.
He was fucking fired by the ISB. Right. Clearly, this guy is on our side.
Yeah, and you can tell that the details they find out about Cyril are exactly the details they are meant to find out about him.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure the ISB selectively doctored this before.
Oh, sure.
Anyone found it.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah, because
before they even sent him out there, they probably had this doctored.
Yeah. So the leader guy meets with him again, meets with Cyril, and tells him, "Hey, we need information about shipments from the Empire." And he's like, "We just do building materials for the annex or the armory or whatever. Not everything that comes through here, we like." We don't get breakdowns on everything.
Yeah, some of it's classified.
Yeah, some of it's classified, and we don't know what it is. And he's like, "Well, see, that's the thing.
See, we know what the classified stuff is.
Yeah,
we just need to know where it's
going to be and what time."
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, "You know what? That sounds kind of fucking fun. Viva la resistance."
I can probably do that.
So Luthen visits Bix while Cassian is away, and he's there to send her on assignment. But he changes his mind when he sees how much of a wreck she is.
Yeah, he's like, honey, you're on drugs. I cannot in good conscience send you out in the field.
Yeah, Bix, you got that crazy hair. Damn.
And Bix is like, fucking put the drugs down and no one gets hurt.
Yeah. When's the last time you slept? No.
I don't sleep.
No. So he tells her, he's like, hey, I need you to be healthy. And, and I think you're great. And I think you can be really great. Just get your shit together. And also the drug that you're using, it's going to work for a little bit. But
the nightmares will come back even worse when you stop.
When you stop taking it. Yeah. Which seems a little bit like maybe he's speaking from experience. So Will teaches the guy into car, which by the way, I was sitting here staring at this guy and it was like, God damn, his face looks so fucking familiar. Mm-hmm. He is the leader of the Golden Company in the final season of Game of Thrones.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
That's
where I know that guy, yeah. So he's teaching this guy how to use the thing, and he's not very good at it yet.
Yeah.
And there's so much to memorize. There's so many variations, and the variations change depending on what fuel station they're going to hit. Mm-hmm. And so it would simplify things if they knew exactly which fuel station. But Saul Guerrero is way too paranoid to do that, right? And Will can't leave. He's like, dude, I cannot leave this fucking place until you learn all this shit. So please, for the love of God.
Lock in.
Yeah. So Cyril steals some records from work, and he leaves it with the spider salesman. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, look, a spider. Give it to your mother. And he's like, she's a fucking spider. So Skull Dune's art lady, or I don't know, curator, or side piece, I don't even know, visits Clea and confirms that he wants everything reappraised. And you see Clea's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And she's like, well, don't tell Luthen. It has nothing to do with Luthen. None of the pieces you guys gave us are really suspect.
Yeah, Luthen's great. We trust everything we got from him. It's just God, my boss is a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, you can
sometimes.
tell when you look into Luthen's eyes, he never lies about anything.
He would never.
And Clay is like, okay. So the local resistance on Gorman look through the files that Cyril gives them and notices that some of the shipments have like military
classification.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is the shit we're looking for. And so they start planning an operation. All right. Cassian arrives on Gorman looking fly
slick
as fuck.
Yeah, he's got his hair done. He's got this cool suit and cloak.
He fucking checks into his hotel and he's like, Andor. Cassian Andor.
Actually, it's Sky.
She's like,
Valerian Sky.
You're wanted by the Empire.
He's like,
I forgot that's not my real name. It's Valerian Sky. He goes up with the bellhop, and the bellhop tells him about the Tarkin massacre, and you can tell
he has to kind of wheedle it out of him because bellhop's
because they're not supposed to talk about it.
We're not supposed to talk about that.
But at the end of this conversation, I think it's kind of sweet that Cassian realizes that he's talking to a guy who watched his father die at the hands of the Empire in a very public place, just like he did.
Yeah.
And so at the end, he kind of gives him a, hey, man, keep your head up kind of a thing, you know? So Cyril visits Dedra because he's on Coruscant now.
Yep. He goes back to their apartment.
Yep. And she's like, you can only stay for an hour. Go turn off the lights and I'll grab the strap on. And he's like, can you get the Wookiee shaped one? And she's like, hell yeah, we can.
Absolutely. And then they fucked.
Yeah, they did. And it was probably, you know what? I'm really happy for them.
Yeah.
So Cassian meets up with someone from the Resistance.
The big guy's daughter.
Yeah, which it's really interesting because like they do the code word thing, but then she just starts talking way too fucking much.
And he's like, Madam, you have no idea who I am.
I
could be the guy you're looking for.
Yeah.
I could be his friend. I could work for the ISB, and you just doomed everyone you love and care about by talking to me. Now, you don't know.
It just so happens, lucky for you, I am who you need me to be.
Yeah. But like, you need to be so much more careful with this shit. Like,
fucking amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they make plans. He's going to come by the showroom tomorrow. And he's like, oh, yeah, because of the fabric. And she's like, oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. And like, I love how he has this serious, like he breaks character, goes pure spy.
Okay.
And then at the end, he's back to being,
You know why? He's, Cassian Andor has clearly attended the Luthen Rael School of Spycraft. And he does that very well.
Yeah.
So Cyril visits his mom, and he gives her the spider, which she, of course,
and he
named
fucking
Cyril.
is still sitting there eating his cereal and blue milk.
Yep. And she's like, I'm going to name it Cyril, because it's fucking disgusting, and I hate it, and it disappoints me. Do you like the spider, Cyril? Look, it looks like you.
Before this season started, I joked that I wanted more scenes of Cyril and his mother just passive aggressively sniping at each other.
It is a lot of fun,
cereal.
isn't it? Yeah.
And like, I got exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. We learn about a show called Good Morning Coruscant, which is like the Fox News morning show.
It's the Today Show.
It's like Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
So they talk about the Imperial investiture parties.
Which I guess is when all the new senators come like throw parties or something.
I don't fucking know. It's not really important.
Yeah. It is a backdrop for what is about to happen later.
Yes. So Cassian visits the showroom. They talk. He meets up with the big honcho guy. They talk about the armor that's almost finished. They reveal that he's like, oh, hey, by the way, we have an Imperial source. And it is insane to me how close Cyril and Cassian, they are just ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
Because Cyril just left to go visit his mother, and Cassian just arrived. And this would have been the thing that imploded everything.
Yeah.
Because you know that Cassian...
Cyril 100% sees through any disguise Cassian can wear.
Right.
Cassian is probably going to realize who Cyril
he'll remember him, yeah.
That's what takes this from a spy thriller to all-out warfare.
Yeah. So Cassian mentions, he's like, look, I know you guys have like an inside source, but like, you know that the Empire is really good at misdirection and bullshit, right? Like, have you considered that maybe your source is bullshit? Which it's like, boy, you have no idea how close you are to that, because that's exactly what's happening. So their plan is, we're going to expose the Empire's activities. We're going to tell everyone what they're doing, and we're going to steal their guns.
Yes, we'll have proof.
And then we'll have proof, and we'll have our own guns.
Cassian's like,
who can take us down after that? He's like,
fucking
idiots. Yeah, he's like, no, the Empire can still take you down.
Yeah.
Like, you have no...
Number one, you're risking all this just to prove something that everybody
Everyone
already knows.
Yeah.
Like, it is not a secret. Everyone knows what the Empire's doing.
You guys just had a town hall meeting about this, and everyone knows that it's an armory. Like, and no one cares. No one else in the Empire gives a fuck. So, like, okay, you expose what they're doing, and you get some small arms. Do you really think you're going to take the Empire with that bullshit? And they're like, I don't know, we're French, man. We're like it's our first time in a revolution.
Like,
can you give us a fucking
great.
break?
You grab some E11 blast rifles. That's fantastic. They have TIE fighters.
Yeah.
Like, granted, a TIE fighter ain't shit next to like a turbo laser or anything.
But you don't have any of those.
You don't have those.
Yeah. So, Partagas meets with Dedra and Cyril. God. And Cyril...
I love that they do this in this big-ass conference room.
Hold on just a second. Cyril gives a sit rep, and Partagas gives him a pat on the head.
Yes.
And when he leaves, Cyril turns to Dedra, and he's like, I will fucking die for that man.
I just jizzed in my pants when he praised me.
Can you give him the Chewbacca size strap on, please? Where were we? Oh, yeah. So Cyril is now... head over heels in love with Partagas. In fact, he's probably written his own fan fiction of a three-way between him and Dedra. So the guy Willman is teaching talks to Saw, and he's like, look. So first of all, we find out Saw's like clearly planning to kill Will. He's like, yeah, as soon as you like learn all the shit, we're gonna kill him. And he's like, oh, he's kind of
like,
nice,
dude. Like, can you just tell me where we're going? Because like.
It would simplify things drastically.
Keeping all 8 variations in my head is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
And
my brain's not that big, man.
Yeah. So I was like, fine, we're going to fucking, I don't know, planet Dick Butt.
Without much resistance at all, Saw tells him exactly where they're going. So Clea tells Luthen about the Skulldune problem. Oh, I think we already did. So they complain about that, but they know that they have to go to a party and retrieve the listening device. It's going to be crawling with Imperials, and if they get caught, they're fucked. But if they don't go, they're fucked as well. Yep. So like they kind of have to. And you can tell that Luthen is kind of starting to feel the pressure of everything. He's like, there are officially maybe one too many spinning plates that he's trying to like juggle. They also have too much intel, which I thought was an interesting. They have the same problem that the ISB has.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So Cassian and the Resistance on Gorman go through their plan for their op. He is generally not very impressed with it, and he's like, "Oh, great, we're going to steal things, but here's the problem: like, you guys live at the scene of the crime, and you're not really accomplishing anything here."
Take it from me, I was a thief long before I was a rebel.
Yeah.
The hard part of stealing is getting away with it.
Yeah. Stealing's fucking easy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Like you just walk into their house.
Yeah. All right. So
that's a throwback.
Yeah. So on Dakar, Saw is like fucking Will and Game of Thrones guy front and center. And so,
all right.
Yeah. He's like, so
Will, can he do the thing? And
yeah.
Will's like, yeah, he knows everything. I think he knows everything. And Saw fucking pulls out his gun. You think or you know?
He's like, you know what? Stop fucking with me. I don't know. Yes. He's like, good answer. He turns to Game of Thrones guy. He shoots him right in the head. And everyone's like, what? Will is like, but everyone else is like, it's fucking Saw. This is what he does. So it turns out that Game of Thrones guy had an Imperial transmitter and was a traitor. And so he looks at Willman. He gives him a pat on the back.
Congratulations, kid. You're in. We're not going to planet Dick Butt. We're going to this other planet, and you're going to run the fucking Rhydonium shit.
Welcome to the Partisans. And he's like, I did not apply for the Partisans.
I did not sign up for this.
And he's like, yeah, you're a member anyway.
I never thought I would say this, but I would like to go back to Luthen now.
and I said before, and I mean it this time when I say it, fuck Luthen. You belong to me now. They get into their ships and leave. They just leave the dude's dead body there, which I thought the shot they compose is really neat. And we follow them into orbit.
Also, is this the first time in canon we see X-Wings?
Well, no, we see him in Star Wars Episode 4.
Okay. No. I mean, like, chronologically in the timeline, in universe.
No, because we see X-Wings in the first season of Andor when Luthen visits Saw on whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Okay.
Also, not counting.
Also, I really like the paint job on those X-Wings.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Like, it looks. I forget what kind of camouflage it is, but like during World War I, some navies tried to do this like weird camouflage on their ships to make it really hard to tell how far away they are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it's based on that. I don't know for certain, but if you know, or if you remember what that's called, please leave it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. So Cassian tells the resistance leader, he's like, look, we're not ready. You're not ready. This whole thing is stupid.
Your plan is shit. Yeah. None of your people are professional. Yeah. Like,
I'm going to leave now.
For your own sake, shut it down before you all get killed.
Yeah, sorry about the Empire. Shit happens. I'm going to go home. And they're like, well, when you go home, tell your guy that I said you suck. And he's like,
tell Luthen to go fuck himself.
Fuck it, and I'll do that, kid. All right, see you later. So Saw and company arrive at where they're going to steal this fuel. And Will does the transfer with the thing.
And all this, the whole time he's doing it,
Saw by the way, hold on a second. Before we noticed that, so Saw,
yeah,
and
so
Will.
Hold
on a second. Saw and Will are down by the fuel pump with an X-wing, and the entire rest of the gang is like a mile away watching them, because Rhydonium is, it is not just extremely combustible. It is extremely reactive, which means it does not need a spark to blow up. It'll just blow up because it feels like it.
Saw has a monologue, I think in episode 4 about this, where he's like, you ever seen a man die from Rhydonium? Maybe he just breathes it too deep and he starts burning up from the inside.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just fucking surrounds him and explodes.
Yeah, because it does that.
Completely at random, because it just does that.
As it is wont to do. Yeah. So Saul waxes poetic about his experience as a slave on Andor, and one day they had a fuel leak while they were harvesting it, and apparently it had a big impact on Saul, and by big impact, I mean he got addicted to drugs. Because you can breathe in Rhydonium, and it gives you one hell of a fucking rush, right?
Yep.
And
this is why Saw is the way he was.
And also probably why I just realized in Rogue One, he has that respirator thing he has to breathe in. Yeah.
Because his lungs got fucked up.
Yeah.
Probably got burned up from the Rhydonium.
He's hitting that Rhydonium too hard.
That's why his voice is the way it is, probably.
Lies, deception, boar gullet. So Will's able to do the thing correctly, and it like kind of starts venting, and Saul's like, go fucking away, and like goes and like breathes it in, and Will's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and then Saul turns to him and like grabs him by the shoulders, crazy drug eyes and shit. And he's like, fucking remember this feeling.
Yeah.
You are here with me. We are ready to kill for the rebellion.
You're not with Luthen. You're here. Yeah. You're right here.
Yeah. Are you ready to fucking go? And Will's like, you know what? Fuck yeah.
Pulls off
his mask.
Breathes in.
Yeah, immediately starts. Yeah,
like it's the first time you hit a bong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so next episode, what a festive evening. We open on Port Steerguard, which, by the way, comes up in conversation in the first season because that's where
the first set of 3, because that was where that one officer was stationed, and Luthen talked to him in Chandrilla and was like, "Oh, Steerguard."
Before that even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in season 1 of Andor, Steerguard was where Anton Krieger was gonna do his raid. Yeah,
I remember.
So. Luthen picks Cassian up, and they fly out on the Fondor. And Cassian...
Luthen's like, okay, tell me what you think of them. Cassian's like, these fucking clowns are amateur hour. Like,
the whole thing's a fool's errand.
We don't need to get involved with them. Like, they're just going to go off half-cocked and get themselves killed.
And Luthen's like, however, they could be useful to the cause, even though they'll probably die.
Yes.
Like, Gorman is rich and important, and having them as another front line against the Empire would be great. And then Cassian says, well, what if they burn? And then he says they'll burn brightly.
Yeah. Like,
and you're like, God damn, dude.
Luthen is so morally gray.
Yeah.
Like, he is absolutely committed to defeating the Empire. And
any means necessary.
Yes. Any means necessary. He'll sacrifice anything, including, and perhaps especially, other people to do it.
I'm sure that's the easy part.
Yeah. And he recognizes that Gorman has this unique cultural value in the galaxy where, like, people pay attention to it, even if they're not, like, actively. Like, if something happens there, it's going to reverberate.
Yeah.
And Luthen wins either way. Either the Gormans succeed and he gets his new front opened, or they get crushed horribly, in which case news of that will spread and it will radicalize new people.
Yeah, he's in a good position. Yeah. So he calls Clea, And he's like, okay, so Cassian isn't crazy about the Gorman thing. I think he's wrong, so we're going to get a second opinion. So send Vel to go and check it out. So Vel arrives, and she starts to check out the operation herself.
I love that they have the exact same code phrases that Cassian used. I have friends everywhere.
Right. I also like how he sent Cassian to get his opinion. Cassian gives him the opinion. He's like, well, that's incorrect. So,
sir, you have not given me the opinion I want.
Yeah, so I'm going to send someone who will give me the opinion I want. So Cassian returns home, and Bix seems actually like she's in a pretty good mood. I think it's because she's hitting whatever that fucking drug is. She tells Cassian about Luthen's visit, and he is pissed by that for a variety of reasons.
It came up earlier that Cassian feels extraordinarily protective of Bix, which...
Well, every time he's left her before this set of episodes, something bad happens to her. Yeah.
So, like, I get it, but Bix is also like...
She's an adult, dude.
Bro, I can take care of myself.
Yeah. Like, she beat that man to death in episode 3.
Yeah.
She fucked him up. She sleeps with a gun under her pillow. I think she'll be all right.
Yeah.
So Mon Mothma and Perrin drive to the investiture party. Investiture. I have a really hard time saying that word.
They have a discussion at one point while their driver's driving around. Perrin's like going through this list of parties on his tablet, and he's like, okay, what can we like not appear at? Because there's way too much shit going on this season.
He's like, and you know how I like a good fucking party. There are too many parties here. And she's like, that is not like you, Perrin. He's like, there are that many, though.
He has a really great line about cramming an entire season's worth of insincerity into 3 nights or something.
Right.
That's just politics.
Which, by the way, is Perrin, like, I get that they're married, but is he also like her social secretary?
I think he just likes parties
a
lot.
Dude likes a good party.
So, like, Mon Mothma just sort of delegates that part of the job to him, and he's like, yes, I will absolutely be our partier in chief.
Yeah, I like how he's like, okay, which one of these motherfuckers do I give a speech at? And he's crossing out the ones he doesn't give a speech. He's like, I only do ones I do speeches.
Also, we have to end the night at Skull Dune because he's an in-law.
Right. And that's going to take a lot of energy out of us. So Cassian shows up at the art shop in the middle of the night to confront Luthen.
Pounds on the door.
Yeah. Which is like, this is a huge no-no, by the way.
Luthen's like, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to have to kill every person that walks by on the street while you're here and take them out back and make pies out of them.
I like the very first thing Luthen says is, your cover story is that you are bringing me this medallion.
Yeah.
Now, what the fuck is so important that you're coming here?
And I'm
right
serious.
now?
Like that woman that just walked, I'm gonna have to send Clea to kill that bitch.
Like, she is dead because you were here.
So what was so important? And he's like, stop talking to fucking Bix. And he's like, no, get the fuck out. Cassian's like, oh, okay.
And like, you're exaggerating, but only very slightly.
Yeah. He does kind of bring up an elephant in the room about Bix, which is that she is in her current state a gigantic liability for them. Someone who's under the influence of drugs like that, especially dependently so, is unpredictable.
Is not reliable for the sort of covert operation they're running here.
And Luthen he's like, there might come a day where you have to put her down. And he's like, okay, this has gotten really dark. I think I'm going to go now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go kill that lady for you on the way out. So Partagaz talks to Lonnie and Gay Assistant. He's like, guys, Dr. Gorsk, the guy we've got with the
alien torture headset.
Yeah. So it turns out he's a rock star with the Empire. And guess what qualities he has that makes him a rock star with the Empire?
He has the alien torture headset?
The Empire that doesn't condone SA, by the way. So military intelligence wants him. They're gonna give him his own building.
Yeah, they're gonna set up his own floor on this building.
So you're gonna go to the planning of all this, and you're gonna represent the ISB. And I cackled because Gay Assistant guy says it's an honor, and then Partagaz says, really? It's an assignment. Calibrate your enthusiasm. And then after Partagaz walks off, he turns to Lonnie. He's like, I can't believe I said that. God damn it.
Lonnie's like, this is your job, by the way.
Report back to me.
Yeah.
I have to go talk to someone real quick, and you can't know who it is.
They never mention it, but Lonnie immediately went to go talk to
feet, on there, yeah. I had to go make a very important phone call. So Vel meets Cinta at the little coffee shop on Gorman, and it's the first time they've seen each other in over a year. We find out something bad happened to Cinta, and she's recovering for a lot of that time. I wonder maybe if it had to do with Take Homa.
Maybe
like maybe she had to like crash the car or something, and that's how he died. I don't know.
Possibly.
And Luthen didn't tell Vel. Like Vel was just completely in the dark about it. And so basically their job there is they're going to babysit the Resistance when they do their op.
Yep.
And they're basically consultants, pretty much. So
they're U.S. military advisors.
Yes,
essentially.
Yeah. So Partagaz talks to Dedra, and she's like, "Here's the situation and on Gorman so far." And Partagaz mentions not being able to tell Cyril what they're really up to. And he's like, it's kind of a narrow thing you're walking right here. Because let's be honest, y'all are fucking. I'm the ISB.
Yeah.
Like we've seen video, and you realize that he can't know what we're like really up to. And she's like, I get it. Don't worry about it. So, the Resistance goes over their op, and Vel sets the rules. So Vel and Cinta.
Vel is like, okay, rule number 1. Everyone follows orders because, as a wise man once said, good soldiers follow orders.
Yes.
Rule number 2, if you have a problem with rule number 1, tell me right now and get the fuck out of this room. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to have these electrical mines. They're going to stun the transport. We're going to deal with all the people on board, and then we're going to run the guns down into the sewers, load them up on our other truck, and drive that out of here.
Yes. And she's like, Cinta and I are in command. No one else is in command, and no one else can have weapons.
I want to emphasize that because this is an order, and as we know, good soldiers follow orders. Yes. If your name is not Vel or Cinta, you do not carry a gun.
You may not have a gun.
You absolutely should not have a gun if your name is not Vel or Cinta.
Also, we're doing this bitch tomorrow night. Yes. So get some good rest tonight. So Bix and Cassian notice that Luthen has sent the signal up, and Cassian is going to have to go on assignment again. And Bix insists that she goes, and Cassian's like, you will. This time you will.
All right, fine.
So, Vel and Cinta have a steamy scene together. So first they talk about...
then they fuck.
Yeah. Which, by the way, good for them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm having trouble remembering... I know that there is the one blink and you miss it lesbian kiss in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. It's barely there. They made it long enough to cut out for the Chinese market.
Yeah.
I don't think that there anywhere else in Star Wars is a gay kiss like this one. And I was sitting there, me, a gay man, I was like, damn. Good for them. Yeah. They do talk about the op. And also how Cinta, since her accident, has had time to reconsider the rebellion's first, we take everything that's left over.
At some point, she mentions that Luthen finds them more valuable apart,
separate than they together. Yeah, and then Vel's like, well, we'll have to talk to Luthen about that. And she's like, yeah, after the op, we'll like figure it out. So this fucking in the closed captions, he's called an oath keeper, and he makes the whole Senate do. They're like, I pledge allegiance to the flag.
And Mon Mothma just walks out in the middle of it.
Yeah, she can't stomach it. Yeah. And you know that someone's watching her like, oh, okay.
We're taking attendance, Ms. Mothma.
Palpatine's down in that lower floor at his desk. And he's like, what's her problem?
Doesn't she know I am the Senate?
Masamari's just there like jerking him off. He's like, I don't know, my lord, I don't know. So Clea and Luthen leave for the party. Clea puts on a fancy little brooch. And he's like, what's with the fucking brooch? She's like, don't worry, Luthen, I swear to God, you can stop talking to me like that. So this really cool musical cue plays as Mon Mothma arrives to the party.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Go back and watch the scene and listen to the music. It's really neat. We meet the new Senator Organa, now played by Benjamin Bratt, and he's on his way out.
Yep.
We don't see him for that long, and he's like, fucking Imperials, am I right? And then he just leaves. And they make sure that you understand
this is Bail Organa,
because they're like,
this is what he looks like now.
Yes.
He doesn't look like Jimmy Smits anymore.
Yeah. And he's like, so because Mon Mothma's like, how is your wife Brea and your daughter Leia? And he's
Senator
like,
Organa.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, those are family members of mine because I'm Bail Organa. And then he's like, I gotta go home now. So this is as good recasting as we're going to get for this. I think he looks enough like him. He's got that whole arrogant but charming, handsome senator, uncompromising senator who does things his way, which is exactly the character that Jamie Smits plays in The West Wing, by the way. And so I'm really happy with this recasting. I think Ben Bratt's really like a handsome man, and the whole thing works out. Okay, at the ISB, all the personnel is kicked out because something is developing, and only Dedra and Partagaz are left, right?
They're in the Situation Room. They're all alone in this huge fucking room that ordinarily has like 100 people working.
Yeah, just the two of them. So the reason is because the op on Gorman with the Resistance is starting.
And Cyril is camped out on a rooftop with some binoculars and a radio. He's like, okay, it's happening. Yeah. They're there.
They're walking down the street.
Wait, no, that's not them.
Yep. No.
That was just some ordinary people.
No, that's the baker.
Because it's France.
He makes really good scones, by the way. That doesn't need to go on the record. Dedra, are you still there? I love you. That's for Partagaz. I love you too. Partagaz is like radio silence, please, unless it's important. So Luthen and Clea arrive at the party. And Luthen is such a fucking ham when people are watching. I mentioned this on our last episode, where he's got like this ring from like this, like it's like more valuable.
Yeah,
than,
and some people are like, oh, Luthen, you're wearing that 3,000-year-old ring in public.
I just like how Luthen just finds a random person and walks to me. He's like, would you like to see my ring? And he calls them thieves, which I think he's like, any of you fucking thieves want to buy it? And they're like, oh, Luthen, you cracked me up. You're a fucking thief too. Where am I on this? Oh, Gay Assistant and Lonnie are at the party because Partagaz he's like, you boys should go have a night out all by yourselves. Since I'm kicking everyone out, I'll give you my invite to this swanky party. And Gay Assistant guy is throwing drinks back like crazy. He's like, oh, we're doing shots. So the op, you already you already told us what the op is going to do. They disable all that other shit. So they get started on it, and it's going really well because Vel and Cinta are like really good at this. And so everything is efficient, and like Vel's like, guys, we go smooth instead of fast.
Like, don't fucking rush.
Yeah.
Just get the things off the truck, get them in the sewers, load them up in the other truck. It'll be great.
Also, and I'm saying this from experience, don't take off in the getaway car until all the shit's secured and it won't crush anybody. Long live fucking Nemec. So Luthen and Mon talk at the party. Because
Mon is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, first of all, why are you here? Also, I've not seen my cousin in like a year. And he's like, why do you need to see her? And she's like, it's my cousin and I like her.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's weird.
Imagine liking people.
Yeah, I'll send her over here on assignment, I guess, and you guys can talk. So then Mon and Perrin and Luthen go to see Skull Dune's art collection. Clea runs up to Lonnie and like it's like a jump scare. It's like, oh fuck, you're here.
She's like, okay, Lonnie, I need you to pretend to flirt with me.
He's like, but I'm here with fucking Gay Assistant.
I don't care. You're my cover story. Come on, we need to go into fucking Skull Dune's.
Lonnie's like, the last time I had a beard was in high school. I do not need this right now, Clea. Remember, Lonnie is married as a kid. I keep forgetting.
Lonnie is also a coward and does not want to be involved with any of this.
Yeah, and he's very easy. Like Lonnie will say no, and then you're like, yes. And he's like, fine. Fuck it.
Fine.
So Skull Dune. So Clay's like, we got to go do something shifty. Like, stay with me. And like, if I reach into your pants, don't flinch. Yeah. So Skull Dune gives a tour of his art collection. And what do you know? Fucking Director Krennic is there. And first of all, Director Krennic is such an asshole.
Yes.
And I love how the entire time he and Mon Mothma just spar about politics and everyone else just laughs. As Skull Dune is talking about his art, Clay and Lonnie come in and they go to a piece across the room, which is a piece that the group's going to get to, but not yet. Yeah. Right.
And Clay is like, all right, Lonnie, I need you to move like a step to your left so that you're blocking what I'm doing underneath the table, which is removing this listening device.
Yeah.
And Lonnie's like, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm going to get caught and shot.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you're not. If you just step to your fucking left and cover for me.
And she's like, Lonnie, you're going to get shot if you don't do what I say. So you might as well do it. She takes the brooch off, which ends up being like a special tool.
Yeah, Allen wrench or whatever that she uses to start loosening the listening device.
Now, because they need to ratchet tension, the listening device gets stuck, right? And it's a question of, are they going to get it out before the tour gets to them and they get caught?
Yeah. And like she goes through, listen closely, Lonnie, because you might get quizzed on this. This little like disc thing that has these ridges and things, this is a book.
It's
like,
space braille.
Yeah, it's space braille.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Krennic and Mon Mothma spar the entire time, and it's actually really funny. Skulldune and the group arrives at the piece, and Clea isn't trying to get the listening device anymore, and you can see Luthen like looking at her like.
At one point, like she is twisting this thing so much that like her hand starts bleeding.
Yes. On Gorman, someone shows up on his way home, and it's the guy that does the French bird.
Yeah.
And he's on his way home, and
one of the reasons guys is like, dude, fuck off, you can't go this way.
It's the spider salesman guy. And he's like, no, fuck you, I'm going home. And he pulls out a gun. He's like, well, what if I said I had a gun? He's like, I don't know. What would I say if I'm going to shove it right at your fucking ass? And they have a little fight, and a shot goes off.
And Cyril's like, oh God, shots fired.
Yeah.
Wait, it was just one shot.
Yeah, no, it was one shot. Yeah. So a shot goes off, and we find out that Cinta has been shot and killed. And fucking Godspeed, Cinta. You were like, I loved her character in this show. I'm really sad that she's gone.
Yeah.
But I can see why this needed to happen, particularly for Vel. Partagaz is like, Cyril, you still there? And he's like, yes, I'm always here for you. And he's like, okay, you need to call the response team, but give them plenty of time to get away. And he's like, oh, okay. Weird, but okay.
Weird, all right.
And they have to cart Vel off because she's kind of in shock. So it turns out that Clea was able to get the listening device out.
Yep.
And as she and Luthen walk to the car, they both laugh
You're
about...
welcome, by the way.
And they're both like, we're going to laugh about this later. And then Luthen makes a joke about killing Krennic while they had the chance, and they both laugh about it like, dead Imperials. That would have been really funny, by the way. So Vel confronts the guy that...
They're sitting in the getaway truck, and the guy who shot Cinta...
He breaks down because he accidentally killed somebody.
Like, he accidentally killed her, and Vel's like, are you crying? You fucking... Like, she was 10 times the rebel that you will ever be.
Yeah.
And you're crying... Like, you're going to carry that with you for the rest of your life because you're too much of a dumb fuck to follow orders and leave the gun at home.
She says specifically, this is on you. You'll wear it like skin for the rest of your life. And this monologue is really heartbreaking. She called Cinta a miracle. But Vel, the unadulterated badass and hard ass that she is, doesn't shed a single fucking tear. And you're like, goddamn woman, like that is insane heavy shit. And this guy probably will be tortured for the rest of his life over this. So Dr. Gorst comes home. He's like got like a little piece of cake in a little like takeout box and shit.
And he goes into his office and is setting up his shit.
Yeah, and he's got his little torture machine. I think it's probably the version he keeps at home.
Maybe he steps into his office, flips on the lights, and who's in the corner but fucking Bix with a gun?
Bix Kayleen has her gun, and he's like, wait, girl, I kind of know you.
I recognize you. Yeah, from somewhere. And Bix is like, sit the fuck down.
Yeah, sit in the chair.
I'm gonna tighten these straps now, and here's your famous alien torture headset. Have fun. It only feels like forever.
She cues up the Dying Children remix, presses play, and leaves him listening to it. And they do the really cool detail where when the recording starts, the sound cuts out, and you only see his expression.
Yeah.
She meets up with Cassian on the way out, and they blow the place up.
She walks out. The Imperial Guard's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be." And she just
shoots, fucking downs him. Yeah. Meets up with Cassian. They hit a button.
Yep.
Boom. It explodes, and that's how the episode ends. Yeah. And it's really cool.
I didn't get. This is just a background detail. I didn't get to mention this. I love the way this show portrays Coruscant. It's very brutalist
Yes.
and concrete, and like everything feels slightly too big for human comfort. Like
it is the exact opposite of Gorman, which is circular and artsy, and actually like the streets are actually like quite narrow. It's just like France,
or even the parts of Coruscant that we see in the prequels, really, because that's all very sleek and glossy and metal and glass.
Yeah, the Empire was like, we can buy concrete at a discount. So we are doing lots of concrete.
Yes.
No, the Empire is all about concrete.